Hello, everybody. Eli Hoff, Ben Fredrickson from the Post-Dispatch, your eye on the Tigers crew. We've got a big football game to break down this week. Missouri versus Alabama. It's a game that I think a lot of folks in Mizzou circles have maybe not been looking forward to, but nonetheless anticipating for a while. There's still a lot up in the air as far as Missouri is concerned with Brady Cook and Nate Noel, two key players, and their injuries going into this game. It's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff on ABC on Saturday. Game, I don't know if I said it, in Tuscaloosa, so a big road test for Missouri. Ben, we can say this is the biggest game of Mizzou season so far, probably the most important as well. I'm curious for you. I think the answer might be the obvious, but what's the key for Mizzou to be able to actually go down to Tuscaloosa and get a victory and be competitive this weekend?
Shocker, I'm going to pick the most important players on the field. You gave me first pick, so I'll take it. The
It's
quarterback,
allowed.
right? Brady Cook, his heroics against Auburn will forever be remembered. What is the hangover going to look like? Golly, we saw him try to play on one leg. He came back after a 2 hour delay and looked like he had been given a donated leg. He ran as well as we'd seen all season. He threw with a presence and a strength that we haven't seen in a while. Now, can he do that again? Hope so for him. I can't imagine there's a scenario where he's not going to go out there and give it a shot. But what level of health does Brady Cook have in a really tough place to play? So that's on the Mizzou side. We just probably won't know until the game starts. And then on the Alabama side, Jalen Milroe is a Heisman candidate, but he hasn't been perfect this season, and that Heisman case may be slipping away here. Alabama has not looked like itself since beating Georgia, and even that started in that game as Georgia tried to mount a comeback. This Alabama team lost to the same Vanderbilt team that Mizzou beat, remember. He can run, and Missouri has to stop him from beating them with his legs. He's got a nice amount of rushing touchdowns, but he's also got some interceptions. So I'm trying to make him beat me with his arm. If he does it, then so be it. But I'm gonna try to limit him, and I'm gonna try to keep him out of the end zone when he runs, because when he runs for multiple touchdowns, as you're going to point out in our Eye on the Tigers podcast, tends to be that Alabama win. So I think controlling him, keeping him contained, making him earn every yard on the ground is going to be something that Missouri has to stress and achieve if they're going to go and get a massive road win.
I'd like it to be in the record that I also agree that the quarterbacks will be very important. But for the sake of us
Noted,
having a
noted.
discussion
Yes,
here,
got it. Yep.
I'll go with something else. You did get the first pick. So with the second overall pick in the keys to the game draft, I'll take both teams' secondaries against the wide receivers. Alabama has a wide receiver named Ryan Williams, who you may have heard is 17 years old. He was born in, this is crazy, February of 2007. And is playing college football this year. It makes me feel old, and I should not feel old.
And you're not old, yeah.
No, it's not all right. But I mean, he's been ridiculous. He had that tightrope spin move sideline catch against Georgia that I think he burst onto a lot of people's radars. He's up there in yards and touchdowns in the SEC. He's the best wide receiver Mizzou has seen yet this season, and frankly, might see for the entire season. Mizzou's cornerbacks have been iffy, I think we can say fairly safely. And there have been past breakdowns just with the secondary at large. That can't happen. If Ryan Williams gets free over the top, Jalen Milroe has the arm to find him. That will be a touchdown for Alabama. And frankly, Ryan Williams doesn't even need that kind of separation to be able to make a play. So how Mizzou can hold up against him is key. And the same thing goes for Alabama in this case. There have been some questions about their secondary. They've got some transfers, some young guys, some new guys in there who haven't been up to the usual standard of what you'd expect from an Alabama defense. Now, this is probably contingent on Brady Cook and his health, but there might be opportunities in the passing game that haven't necessarily been there for Mizzou throughout the first half or so of this season. I'll be down in Tuscaloosa covering the game this weekend. We'll have you covered at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and STLtoday.com. And if you want more of a breakdown of Brady Cook's injury, Nate Noel's injury, there's some live on-air news in this week's episode of the Eye on the Tigers podcast. You can check out more of Ben and I's discussion there.